Hi, my name is Martin Mende. I'm a professor of marketing at Florida State University, and I'm here to talk with you about the first I in our seven I's framework, and that stands for ignorance or ignoring, or when consumers ignore the risk communication that you want to send to them, right? It does not mean that they look at it, assess it, and then decide to ignore your advice. No, we're not even getting to that stage where consumers attend to your communication. That's what we mean with this first I, right, of ignorance or ignoring. Now, of course, in marketing, we have typically this problem that we need to create awareness in the audience when marketers promote a product, a brand, a service, whatever, right? The creating of awareness is a major hurdle. And this, of course, is conceptually very similar in the risk communication realm, where you, as the sender of information, need to get consumers and people to engage with it and to deliberate on that information more, right? Because ultimately, you want them to take a protective action, be that evacuate an area when a hurricane seems to be coming, wildfire evacuation, getting a vaccine, right? All of these protective actions are what you want consumers to do. But for that to happen, we need likely what we call this threat appraisal process, where consumers engage in setting like, let me think about the severity of the hazard, the susceptibility of the hazard, and things like that, that hopefully lead to them taking this protective action. But if consumers ignore your communication in the first place, then very unlikely you could get there. Now, why would we focus on ignoring? We live in an era where many of us probably approach a stage that could be described as information overload, right? And that, of course, has to do with digitization of our world, the use of information communication technologies, right? We probably all have our cell phones right here. And with that comes a lot of information that is sent to us. And sometimes consumers start to ignore content that's coming at them. And that might be unuseful, but it also might be useful, valid, and reliable information. But it's just too much to deal with, or figuring out what's reliable, what's valid is too much for the consumers. And so they just ignore information, right? They stop acquiring new information. Either they pay no attention, or they sometimes even physically do not go into settings where such information would be provided, like healthcare settings, for example, right? Why is that? All of us, at least I know from the literature, most people do, have a limited capacity of processing information, right? And once we reach that level where we're like maxed out, we decide we cannot attend to more information, right? It's just too much. And that is when we then start ignoring, attending to new information. Of course, this can have very suboptimal downstream consequences. We might make decisions that are suboptimal, that turn out to be bad for us. They might undermine our well-being, our individual well-being, our societal well-being. And so we don't need to actually look very far or very long ago for examples of this, like in the pandemic of COVID-19, right? Lots of information was sent to consumers, pushed to people. And we had no doubt information settings where people were just overwhelmed, or where source A said, you should do this, and source B said, absolutely, do not do that. The same behavior. So conflicting information happens, and then consumers start ignoring it, right? Now, you are in luck, though, because with the Lucker app, you as a communications professional can link to decades of literature that has examined under which conditions this ignorance can be overcome, and which aspects you as a professional can play with. For example, you, of course, understanding that consumers have limited capacity to process information is the first step to overcoming it. Then you can learn from the literature how to present relevant information, meaning most relevant first, maybe suboptimal, subordinate information last, or drop it completely so that you're not risking overburdening consumers. You might think about how you can use insights from research to guide consumers toward prioritized information, help consumers filter information. All of that is in the literature, and the Locker app can link you to these insights, and hopefully you can use them to put them to good use, make your communications more effective, and ultimately contribute to individual and collective consumer well-being. I hope you play with the Locker app. I hope you have fun with it, and I hope it helps you making more effective risk communication. Take care.